Get started. How's your guys' week? And what's your guys' plans for the weekend?
Work tomorrow morning and then taking the little baby out for trick-or-treating tomorrow night.
Oh, sweet. This is all current stuff, John?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great.
I'm still waiting on
Getting ready to go to BlizzCon next weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hoping to speak to some recruiters next week, so that's the goal. Get all my stuff printed out soon.
Yeah, dude. You'll definitely talk to some recruiters. This is how it works.
Yep.
All right. Hold on. I'm trying to do multiple things right now before I start up. Couldn't get them done. I need to export this out. Actually, there's one more thing. Yeah, I think I got your guys' files. Anyone else? Anyone else going to some Halloween parties, perhaps?
No, I think I will just use the weekend and to work on the portfolio.
You're just gonna work on your portfolio?
Yeah.
Sounds like a very productive weekend. Nice.
Yeah, it's like this losing of the job really motivates me at the moment.
Yeah, man.
So,
I think it's important though, right? To
yeah,
like stay focused. Yeah, for me, I'm always like that, man. Like I feel like every day of my life is like constant, like trying to get shit together. You know. So I hear
yeah,
you, man. I'm with you on that. But it's part of the grind.
yeah. I mean, the cool thing is I now totally have the time to do stuff and just really explore stuff that I always wanted to do and have the time for it and I don't have to do it in the evenings, which is great.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Okay. All right. So let's begin. Let me share my screen though, so you guys can see. Alrighty. So I already can tell you guys did some good stuff here. We'll start with. Uh, I think we started from alphabetic order first day, and then we went from the Z to A the second day. So today I'm going to start from the middle, right? Let's do it. So I'm going to start with Matt.
Cool.
Or actually, yeah, Matt. Anyway, oh, no, no. All right. Oh, these are freaking awesome. The leveling up totally made this guy way cooler. Look at that.
Yeah, I
What
really
the
liked him.
what the fuck? It's like way better, dude. Good job on that, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let me just. I got my mic set up like it's like right in my face. I'm gonna move it so that I can. I got like a better mic, right? It should be like really solid quality. Um, but it's like big mic. It's like right in my face. Yeah, dude, this is sweet.
Did
Yeah.
you invite the 200?
No, this is only the silver.
Okay.
Yeah, calm down, dude. Calm down. It's backwards. Usually we have silver after the
Gotcha.
2 month meeting, but since I didn't want to move this one, I just wanted to keep this in the same spot. Anyway, yeah, dude, this is. Oh, what the? Whoa! Huge improvements, even from like level 2. Like level 1 looks like a bitch. Yeah, awesome. These are great. This is exactly what I was hoping for. I don't have any criticism, man. I think if anything, just finish out the level 3 guy on this, and then
Yeah,
take a few other characters that you had and do the same thing to them. Just level them the hell up, and then we'll just ignore like the level 1s ever existed. I mean, even level 2 and level 3 could be very powerful portfolio pieces on that. Level 3 of this one, obviously, and level 3 of this one. You know, I like that
yep.
he has like even the weapon change. Like you're just like maybe I'll just change the weapon. Even that choice was a very smart choice. You know.
Yeah, I was just thinking because the idea of all these characters are like hillbillies fighting vampires.
Yeah, totally.
So I was trying to think of just how could I make this guy even more redneck.
Yeah, sweet. Good job, dude. Yeah, I'd say let's do that. So maybe 3 characters for next class. Same thing. Just leveling them up. Pick 3 of out of the ones that you had. Maybe pick 2 that you really like and 1 that you don't like.
Okay.
But good job.
Next week, I'm not sure how connected I'll be able to be at the group because I'll be at BlizzCon. I'll for sure send my stuff in and watch the video afterwards, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to connect or not.
Yeah, that's all
I'll be
good.
bringing my laptop, so hopefully.
Yeah, sweet. Sweet job, though. Good job. All right. Moving on. Juan, you're up next. Are you here, Juan? Juan? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Oh, John. John
Okay.
Raza. Huh?
So I submitted a comic that I've been working on,
Oh, okay.
and
Great.
and the comic kind of goes along with the second illustration that I was thumbnailing.
All
And
right.
what I wanted to do with it was I wanted to show this. This was the first one that we kind of discussed last time, but I did like a lot more than 5.
Yeah, you did. And do you see why you should do that always?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you never settle with the first one, right?
Yeah.
Because you might discover like other ones might have much more influence. Like for instance, like this third one on the top is really fucking cool, and like the concept of the last 2 are really cool too. Now, although you painted really well the first one right here, I could tell
Mm-hmm.
it like the idea and the message is still like um, it's good. It's a good one, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna stick with it because even on the same page, like in thematically speaking, the
Mm-hmm.
6th one and then the one in the middle to the right,
Mm-hmm.
this one right here is good
Yeah.
thematically, right? Like it's a cool idea, like apocalypse type of feeling. This doesn't say anything about that. It's just a cool
Mm-hmm.
little dude. But this like tells me a story, same as this on the bottom middle, right? So maybe you
Mm-hmm.
should consider that, like especially think about the theme of your comic book if these are supposed to be for the comic book, right?
Oh, these are not supposed to be for the comic book. The one for the comic book is it's another one. I don't know if it's in here.
I don't see. I only see pages for the comic. Yeah, I don't see any other ones other than these.
There should be one more page,
Oh,
and
I
the
didn't get it.
composition should be landscape.
I didn't get it. Can you just send it to John right now? He'll put it in. Like email to John.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
In the meanwhile, let me take a look at your comic. This is nice, by the way.
Thanks.
Are these in order of the story?
Yeah, they are in order, but the first 2 pages are actually like back in time, like in ancient Egypt, and then the
Yeah, I
3rd,
get
4th,
that.
and 5th are, like in the 1950s. Basically, it's a group that's going to excavation site where it's like a bunch of different people from different professions that are trying to gain something out of this excavating. One of them is like a businessman that wants to make money, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of just like creating an atmosphere and a dialogue between the characters and kind of building them up.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. I mean, actually, thematically, I understand what's happening. I think one thing that I want to ask you about I'm assuming you already wrote the story and stuff like that. At least most of it.
The story is kind of like ongoing. Like I'm actually collaborating with another friend who's working specifically on like the script and writing, while I'm kind of just doing all the artwork. So we're always going back and forth about how we can improve the story.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I can give you some advice on what that could be to help you like make a better and more compelling story. So if you here's the first thing that I would say is that I feel like this moon thingy or this sun or whatever, or this planet, whatever this happens to be, it should be right over the zenith of this monolith. Right now, it looks like it's moving. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be moving.
No.
I think thematically I understand what's happening, and then also like you do a lot of establishing. Your establishing shots are quite a bit. Like you do a lot of that. For instance, like with this one, like you have like the village, and then we have a closer shot of the village, and then we have a closer shot of like the tools at the village, and then we get like the rifles and all this stuff, and then we go inside, right? Which is cool, but the question is that important? Like, do we need to see these things? And if it doesn't have any importance, I mean, it maybe have more importance to see that like the tools of the trade, the excavational stuff that they have. Because right now I don't get that vibe, right?
Okay.
So it might be better to just like literally have only one or two shots setting up the establishing shot. Like I'm assuming there's like dialogue happening here too. If not, then these definitely are a waste, right?
Yeah. There's a little bit of dialogue. I think the second or the third panel could probably be removed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can replace those with more meaningful imagery. You understand? That's all I'm saying. Because right now, if you just put it in there, because right now you're like kind of doing a tracking shot, which makes sense in like in a film, you know. But in a comic books move faster, right? And so it's like the image is there, and you can kind of imply zooming in with just two images. You don't have to literally go from step by step. You know, these aren't necessarily storyboards. You know, but you can do that if it serves a purpose. If there's like some sort of draw, like we're trying to draw out some sort of information before we go in. And if you're going to do that, like here's the thing: even in cinematography, it's really valuable to only put things into the shot that make sense. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Because every shot we're going to analyze it. I'm going to analyze why we're looking at this. You know. Like the dialogue shots make sense to me though. I can see there's a conversation happening. It makes sense. You know, like all this makes sense. It's just like you're establishing shots. Like seems like you have one or too many. You know, like you really are building the tension up. But I mean, the question is, do we really need to do that? And if you do that for every time you establish a shot, then there is no contrast. What's up? You know. So that would be my critique on your comic book. But I mean, it's yours. Here's the thing, though. It's yours. You know, you can do whatever you want. You know, but that would be my advice to you, bud. And I don't know if John was able to send you. Did you send John the illustration?
I did. He
John,
should
did you
have
get the
gone.
illustration?
What?
Can you check your email? So I can see the illustration, and we'll just come back to that, so that way I can move on. But for now, I think like these are really cool. I think maybe take one of these and start painting it up.
Okay.
Whatever one that you think is the coolest, and then start showing me an epic version of it. I already kind of told you what I like. And then as for your comic, like work on it. It's yours, man. Like take my advice or not. It's your product, man. I don't want to tell you how to do things. But from what I've seen and how people tell stories, this is what I believe really will help improve it. Okay? All right. And we'll wait for your thumbnails. So probably after I critique David, we'll take a look at them. All right, David. What's up, buddy? David?
He's in the chat.
Oh, is he chatting? Can't talk, but I'm listening. Oh, okay, got it. All right, cool. Wait, hold on just a second.
One that you sent me was already.
Yeah, John said that. Oh, sorry. This is back to Juan. He said it's the same image, so maybe you can look at it. figure out what's going on because we already have it. Anyway, back to you, David. So these are really cool, man. There are a few more things in layers. Oh, let me see. Okay, so these are your studies. Got it.
It's in there.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So these are 10 minutes. Nice. I think the one thing I'm seeing you're not improving upon is your proportions, but your shapes and stuff are actually getting really good. I can tell like you're nailing down the shapes and ideas of shapes, and you're getting the objective like design. You're not like focusing on all the little details and stuff like that. You're looking at the larger and secondary shapes, and you're grouping them really well. So that's good. That's high five. But your proportions are really off. Like your character's head is really large. Your character's arms are really thick, and legs are thick and big. You know. A good way of thinking about what's going on here is that it kind of looks like an action figure of the character that you're studying rather than the real character. You see what I'm saying? Like you see, it's like more of like the Disney Infinity version of it, not the original version. You understand? All right, cool. But it's okay because like when we look at like your actual thumbnails, like they came out pretty great, and their proportions are a little bit better. The only banana problem is like look how objectified like these are. Like I can see the different material, and I can see you're starting from black. You should definitely not start from black, okay? Because then there's a lot of black just floating in the empty areas. You know, you should really group it differently. But these are pretty cool. My only concern is just proportions, and then also quality. There's a lot of looseness to these, and that's a very small clue that you might have a hard time refining your images. So my advice to you, bud, is I want you to refine two of these. I don't care which ones. Maybe let's say I like C and D. C and D are really cool. So what I want you to do, because I want you to spend maybe 3 hours a day on each one of these, or 3 hours a day working on these. That's 15 hours if you spend it for like a week. And what you need to do is have quality control. This is something that I do often. All right, hold on. Let me see. Jason Chan. Jason Chan is one of my favorite artists. And I used to look at his work all the time. I'm going to throw it into the chat so you can take a look at it. Okay. So Jason Chan is one of my favorite artists. And I used to look at his artwork just for refinement issues. So you see like this image right here. See how clean and how precise it is? So now what I mean by like quality control, like I have reference for design. I have reference for outfits and anatomy and proportions, you know, and I used to have reference for quality control. And what I mean by that is that I would look at this image and I would say, look how clean all of his forms are, his materials, his edges, and I would just try to emulate that. And if my image had no clarity in mind in terms of like if it doesn't get closer to this, then I'm not doing my job. Now, you're not going to get 100% there, right? But the reality is that even if you only made 50% of the quality that Jason Chan gets, then you made a huge leap in your work, right? So for instance, I'm like really into 3D now, right? And so I'm looking at this image every time I boot up my computer. You see this image right here? Because to me, this is my quality control, right? I need to achieve this level of quality. Yeah? And so I'm suggesting you do the same. So, and here's a piece of advice when you're doing it. Spend like half an hour on this character, and then after half an hour, move on to the next one, and spend a half an hour there, and then go back and forth. Or let's say an hour. Spend an hour on one, and then spend an hour on the next, and then spend an hour on the next one, and go back and forth. Because when you do that, it allows you to kind of keep your painting objective, so that way you can see the mistakes sooner than later. Sometimes you spend like 8 hours on one painting, you don't see all the mistakes, right? And then you turn it off and you come back the next day and you see all the mistakes, but you spend so much time fixing it. This technique will allow you to make adjustments and quickly fix it. But you can still spend 8 hours on each. It's just spread out. Make sense? And that's my homework for you. Just these two characters, bring them to the fullest potential of quality, okay? Good luck, buddy. All right. Darren, what's up, buddy?
Hey.
What the? Why are you guys so good? What the hell?
Nice.
Whoa! This dwarf is like the coolest dwarf I've ever seen in my life. It's like a corgi dwarf because of his legs are so tiny.
Yeah, I did that.
Man, this is impressive. Oh, this guy came out awesome. Yeah, I don't have anything to say, man. You did flawless victory, man. These are freaking crazy. This is pro level, dude. If you don't have a job already, then the only problem you have is you don't have enough work like this in your
Yeah.
portfolio. That, or the alternative problem is that you don't put your work out there, or you don't go to enough events and show people your work.
Hmm.
Because, like, okay, so that's my critique for you, is that you should have a job. Like, I'm not like, look, I'm your teacher, right? For sure, right? And you come here to learn. But if I don't feel like I'm not gonna bullshit and try to be like, oh well, yeah, now you should. Like, if I think your stuff is good enough to get jobs, then I'm gonna tell you, you know, and maybe critique you in a different way, which is like how to help you get that, right? So I think for you, like, imagine this is what your art is. It's like in this art museum, right? Called Darren Benton Art Museum.
Yeah.
And right now, let's say you have only one road, and it's like, let's say it's Art Station or something, which is a good road. It's a good road. It's like 3 lanes in it, right? But that's it, right? And let's say you have a website, which is like more of like a dirt road, right? Like only people that know about this take that dirt road, and they have to go off the grid, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, your chances are very slim. The work could be the best, you know. The work could be like, 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean anything if nobody knows it exists, right? I know, like I know so many artists that don't publish their work or post their work. It's absurd, and they just got, they had a friend who helped them get that job in that studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they worked there ever since, and nobody knew who they were. That happens quite a bit. Especially some veteran artists, right? And they're like some of the best artists in the industry. And nobody knows who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the reason why you know who I am is because I have good work. I wouldn't say it's like the best in the industry. There's definitely so much more, but I definitely have good work, right? But the reality is more like I have like a mega highway, like a 3-story art museum, with tons of artwork in there. And I have like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, ArtStation. I go to like events, like at least 4 or 5 events a year. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You don't have to go to 4 or 5 events a year. You don't have to have a lot of social media presence. You just got to start doing something and have some way for people to find your work. That's it. I mean, if you don't go to events, that's really hard, because going to events is truly an advantage because you put your face and your work in front of them. And it's hard for people to ignore your email, right? If you're actually there.
Yeah.
They can't turn you down if you're waiting in line and step right in front of them. Versus email, they can easily ignore, And it's not their fault sometimes. When I was working at Blizzard, I would get like hundreds of emails just from internal emails, like a day, right?
Yeah.
So if you try to email me as like a student or somebody like trying to get some feedback, like it's just, I will not see it. I remember I was gone for like one day. I came back, I had like 1,000 unread emails. And I just said, mark all as read. Because I was not going to go through all that. And I felt like if someone really needed some information from me urgently, then they'll just come to my desk and ask, right? That was my mentality on it, right? So this is my advice to you, buddy. I think you got really good work, and I suggest you finish it. Like, color the other characters that weren't colored all the way,
Yeah.
and then maybe add a couple more characters to Onslaught, right? Like do another dwarf maybe, and do another monster person, right? And we'll just keep doing that until you have a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then just put them on your art station and stuff, man. This is really good. And once you're done, man, I'll do you a solid too because I think your work's really great, and I'll share it on my social media. I'm gonna be sharing a lot of work coming up, so I'll share your
Okay.
stuff too.
Oh,
My
cool.
stuff.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I can't do everything, right? Like you have to also make an
Yeah.
active approach of promoting yourself, going to your events. I mean, my students that I had a lot of students who went to events and they've come back. Like 90% of my students that did that got like a job opportunity. One of my students didn't want to go to THU, and I was like, you should go to THU, and he's like, all right, I'll go to THU, and he went and he said he got a job opportunity. It's just too hard to ignore you if you have good work and you're there and you're showing that you're a normal person. That's really all they care about, is that you're a normal person that can provide good work. I don't know, Darren, if you're a normal person, but I'm assuming you are.
Very well.
You're like, I'm not normal. I actually have 7 legs, and I like to climb walls. I'm a spider without a leg. Anyway. Anyways, good work, dude. I don't really have much to say. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Real quick, do you know of any other events coming up in the Southern California area to do what you were talking about, to show your stuff off?
Wait, say it one more time?
Do you know of any other events coming up soon that...
Yeah, there's tons. Like, there's GDC that's coming up in San Francisco. Well, there's CTN, which is coming up this upcoming month. There's plenty, man. There's tons. You just gotta keep your eyes peeled.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you just do Google search, like I remember I typed in just like events with games, and that's how we found out about Indiecade. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of like your own efforts of just looking. If you don't like think about it like this, like how often are you looking?
Right now I haven't been, other than looking towards BlizzCon.
No, I'm just saying like how often have you been like looking for events?
I haven't.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? Like it's always
Yeah.
just like as simple as that. Like whenever people say, "How do you find events and stuff?" I'm like, "Well, let me ask you this: like, how often have you been trying to find events?" And almost always it's like I didn't try at all. Like I can't always be telling you guys every single thing, right? Like you have to
Oh, yeah.
also be proactive. Like it's the whole give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime, right? I'm trying to give you guys good habits and good mentality that you go look to. We're always helping you guys out. We're posting stuff online. I'm posting job opportunities all the time. But don't wait for me to help you, man. Like, also help yourself.
Yeah.
Because you'll expedite it. You'll speed it up a little bit more. Because that's all I ever did. If I have like 90% of all my jobs I've ever gotten has been through friends and connections I've made throughout my career. Okay, so this is why I say it's important. I don't just say it because it's like good advice that you read from Advice 101. It's like it's practical advice that I've seen happen in my life and other people's lives. Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. Yuri, what's up, buddy? You already? Oh, you're in the chat. Okay. Cool. So these are great, dude. I like to see these. Like these are a little bit more developed than they were before. It seems like. I think. Yeah, I could tell like these ones are the ones where you're using the multiple values, which is really good. And the most successful one is like this one right here. Because if you look at the other ones, they're all still very dark, right? And I don't mind if like if you have a concept that's mostly like a black silhouette. Right? I don't mind that if that was like the intent of the design. Like if you think about like Overwatch, there's a character called Reaper, who's mostly like just all like a dark silhouette, But then right next to him is Tracer, who's like not that at all, right? So you have to have an ability to push and pull the contrast of your characters. And these characters are a little bit more stylized, which is cool. I'm okay with that. But the problems that I have is that they're still very like they're very loose, and they're still very like questionable on what's going on inside the silhouettes. You see that? Like there's still a mystery to me. I don't know what's going. Like for instance, like the fourth guy right here, like is a mystery. Like I'm assuming that's his hood with his face. But I mean, you really think about how his costume is. It's very simple, very very simple. Like he's got like a hood, a black shirt and black pants on, and like some gray gloves with a gray tabard or like a gray like chef's bib. You know, it's very simple. It's too simple, right? The guy in the middle is probably the most successful because even though he's also very simple, at least he has a lot of like texture and patterning that mixes him up a bit more than the rest. You know? So I'd say like you should push them again and also clean it up. And I'll show you what I mean by cleaning it up. Because right now like their edges are still very like soft. So you go in here and make these edges look like the way they should. And one thing I would suggest too is do kind of what I had, I believe it was David do earlier, which is the leveling up. So I'd say pick 3 out of all the thumbnails you did, refine them and paint on top of them a bit, and then do a level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 would be what you originally already had, and then level 2 and level 3, which would be advancing it a bit more, and see how that works. That should help you out with pushing your design, because you'll start to be asking yourself like, what can I add to this character? Think about what the character does for a living. Think about what the character's personality traits. These things will help you give your character's designs a little bit more energy and some more insight. But overall, this is a really good attempt. Yeah, I'd say let's stay away from lighting for a little bit. Let's focus on design. I think we'll tackle lighting next week. Okay? Because you don't want to light something that's not going to be the final product anyway, right? You want to light something that's going to help make your portfolio a little more advanced. Challenge your design. Okay? Because right now your designs are still very, very, very simple. And that's my main critique for you. Clean up your edges, clean up your drawings a bit, paint it up a bit. You know, don't light it necessarily, just paint it up a little bit more, and then level them up. 3 characters. Okay? So that would be 9 drawings with 3 of them already kind of refined. 9 drawings total. Got it? Cool. All right. Will, you're up next, friend. Are you here, Will? I don't see him in the chat. It's all right. I can still give you some feedback, Will. So these are cool, dude. Great job. Like cool studies.
He is in here, by the way.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to watch us later. That's what I'm assuming.
No, he's here. It's Philip.
Oh, there he
Lauren.
is. He is here. He's just typing. All right, cool. Sorry. So these are really cool. I like the drawings and stuff. Like I think you have a really good sense of drawing. It's just like the digital tool, right? Like you're having a hard time switching over to kind of digital.
He's in Skype. Skype.
No, that's all good. I can see him typing here. So yeah, are you like? So it's like really just like the digital paint, and doing more of these is really helpful. Soft brush to get values, flat brush for detail. Okay, I like that. Okay, cool. So then it's really just a matter of applying it to this now, because right now, like it seems like you're still like working on the painting. I have a question now. What resolution are you painting at with these? Are these the original resolution? Okay, so it is larger, so that's not a problem. Okay, so maybe the problem is the technique. So although you may have found a good solution, you didn't test it. Okay, like you didn't necessarily like do a painting where you didn't look at reference and test it. Do you understand? Yeah, so like it's okay to like do a study and then have some ideas of what the study should be, but then you should test it. Let me give you an example. So in my painting with confidence course on Learn Squared, I'm like having them do this. So let me show you some of the students' homework so you can see for yourself. I think Sergey did the best. All right, here we go. I'll open a few so you can take a look. Okay, so like right here, he would study and write down notes and take down notes and try it, and he would give himself a short amount of time to practice hair, right? His goal here was to do hair. And then so he spent 20 minutes and without looking at reference, applying what he learned about hair. And you can see he achieved some good success. And then he wrote notes about what he probably could do next time. Because that looks like hair, right? And then he focused right here all about gestures and anatomy. Again, I think he achieved some success, right? Because at the end, he figured it out. But then he's like, maybe I don't know how to do hands. I don't know really, like I had some problems with the legs, right? But he's building a system. He's building a process. And if you look at all these, he's building a process with design. He's trying to find a way to design. Again, some success, right? It's not about painting good from your studies. Like if you look at the studies, like the studies aren't really like perfectly accurate to the actual image, right? It's more about understanding. And it looked like he did like the same thing over and over again so he could really understand it. And then he applied it here, what he knew. And the idea is to not look at reference. It's like a math test, right? Imagine you're doing a math test, and to study math, you know, the teacher wants you to understand the equations. You go study equations, you look at like the different ways, and they give you, you know, so if we go back, I'm going to close everything so I can just talk about. Because I want you to redo that horse guy. That's your homework. But after, again, doing some studies with a little bit more agenda, and then do the horse guy again. Okay? Because I think you actually are really good. It's just really getting you into the groove. Whatever you need to improve, it's not so much about what you should study. It's about how you're studying is what I'm critiquing. I'm continuously doing that. Because I think you already have a good ability, but I think you can like almost level up twice as good if you can really focus in. Right? Because your values are what you should be focusing on. You're right. You should be focused on that. But the way you're doing it is not necessarily helping you improve right away. So for instance, like if you were to do a test, like, you know, it's about studying equations, let's say, and a teacher teaches you like, okay, what you need to do is get the x by itself. The way you do that is you look at the numbers, and then what you do is you take that number and you apply what you need to do to get rid of this number on one side, and what you do will apply to the next side, right? And then you say, okay, great, you know, so then you go do that, so then now this is 3, and then this is 2x, and then you say now you have to divide everything by 2 because that's the logic of the teacher, right? And then so this is the answer to the equation, right? Right, awesome. And the teacher teaches you how this works, the fundamentals of this, and you study this. But the actual equation itself, 2x plus 3 equals 6, and the answer is x equals 3 and 3 over 2. This answer and this equation won't show up on the test, right? So then if you had like a 5x plus 7 equals 12, like the same thing, it's the same equation in terms of its setup. It has the x value plus a number value, but there's maybe a little bit altercations to it. But this is going to challenge if you understand the way to solve the equation, not how to do the equation. Because if you were to say, oh, x equals 3 over 2, this is what happens when you copied the answer rather than understand how you got the answer. And that's the same in painting. You know, you don't want to use the same answer because it doesn't work in all occasions. You want to understand how to solve the equation. Does it make sense? So let me show you a quick study, like from me. So I have this image of Sargent. I love Sargent. And I want to learn how to draw the way he draws his noses. Today's agenda is nose drawing. So instead of like perfectly drawing the nose as I see it, because that's easy to do. It's actually really easy to just copy, right? That's actually super, super easy. What's hard to do is to reconstruct this without looking, okay? So I asked myself a few questions. Okay, what does this mass mostly look like? It looks like kind of like a wedge, like a large wedge, right? And then there's some extrusions into this wedge, perhaps, right? But now I have to ask myself, what does those extrusions look like exactly? So let me try again. Maybe if I were to draw the barrel of the nose first, and then add these as an extrusion, maybe this will be easier. But then it doesn't really help me understand how the nostril shapes are getting in there. Right, the nostril shapes, the way he's doing it is like this. So what is the form of the base of the nostril, really? Is it that? Yeah, I think so. And then this is like kind of tapered in like this. And then maybe we can just kind of put it together like this. And see what a study looks like, is how different this is. Like, I'm not trying to like draw it exactly as it is. I'm trying to understand how he does it. So I'm like, okay, so this explains why there's like that bridge right there. Explains why there's that there. So this is like if I were to draw it through. Yeah, this is kind of the thing. Okay, now I think I'm starting to have a pattern that I can trust. Okay, so here we go. So I can draw the wedge. The wedge is useful, but what I'll do is I'll draw like a cut in there, and then draw this in here. Maybe I'm drawing the width of the nose too large. Yeah, that's a problem. Let's try again. All right. And the reason why there's a cut in here is because of the brow, and then it comes back in. And then it cuts right here because there's like an insert of that shadow. And then it goes into there. Okay, I think I'm getting it. So I'm trying to build a system. Do you see how like you're even probably learning from just watching, right? You're like thinking about it too. You're like, oh, well, maybe if you try this differently, or maybe if you move that around, you can do a better job. And I just keep testing it, you know? Okay, and then what I do eventually is try it out without looking at the reference. So here's the inset right here. This is the shadow side of this nose. Then it cuts in, and depending on how deep I want it to go, it should be like this. And there should be a little bit of a indentation there. So see, I didn't get a solution for this part of the nose, so there's no solution for that. But this is mostly accurate, I can tell already. At least the nostrils, because that's what I was focused on. Absolutely, yeah. Deconstruct, not copy it. Analyze, not copy. Like, try to come up with a system, you know, that you can do and trust. Got it? And you'll see huge improvements with that just alone. So I want you to try to do 2 images again. Maybe the same images, but this time, like, have your studies be a bit more focused on improving what you think is wrong with those images, what you're struggling with. Okay? All right. Timo, you're next,
Yes.
buddy. Oh, these
Hello.
are cool. Oh, I like the weapon designs. That's actually really great weapon design. I have no problems with that. It looks dope as hell. And this is
Thank
really
you, man.
quality too, man. This is really, really good too, dude. Yeah, very
Thanks
similar
a lot.
advice to you that I gave to Darren earlier, which is putting your stuff out there more. Oh, these are great. Oh, I love this guy. Yeah, I can already tell you leveled up, and like this guy is suffering from your old habits, right? Like your old perception of how to paint and draw. Like it's great. It's improved, you know? But when you were able to start fresh, you were able to add all those things you learned from the beginning.
Mhm.
And that's why I think, especially this guy, turned out freaking fantastic. I think this guy, like this guy and this guy have very similar silhouettes, but this guy's silhouette is not as interesting. So maybe adjust the silhouette. You know, try to be a little bit more daring too. You know, don't be afraid of like, because if all the guys look like soldiers, like you're not gonna have any really cool stuff, right? It's just gonna
Yeah.
be all the same. Like really get crazy with it. Like draw like bolder shapes. Now, even those bolder shapes, you get that scale in there. You know. So these could be like large mechanical, like augmented, like limbs, you know, to
Ah,
help push and make him
nice.
stronger. You know.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
it makes him look different now from all the other ones, right? And there's like
Yeah.
a different theme to him, you know? Does it make
Could
sense?
you mark the characters you just like, because I haven't seen it. Your mouse is, I actually don't see your mouse on my screen, so if you could mark which one I should
Okay.
refine.
I like this guy. Actually, I like this guy. I just happened to paint on that guy. I like the third guy over there. And then out of these ones, I like this guy's helmet. I think most of their chests are the same. Now, this guy's chest, and I think this guy and this guy have the same legs anyway, so these legs, oh, the knee pads are different, I see. Yeah, so actually this guy's legs. So his legs, and then his arms. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, put that together, and then you're done with that guy. And then this guy, just push it.
Okay,
I
cool.
think maybe like this guy's torso with this guy's helmet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but overall, good stuff, man. Yeah, fantastic. So I would say finish
Thanks
those
a
two
lot.
characters by next week, and then that'll be really cool.
Yes. Cool. I will.
Yeah, and I think if we do another character outside of these, like when we do one more, it's going to be even better.
Cool.
And these are freaking cool. Good job on the helmet side and front. That's awesome.
Yeah, I started all over again since I had such a hard time to figure it out, and as soon as I established the forms in the painting much more, it was much easier to really make the line art.
Yeah, dude. Sweet job, dude. Great work.
Thanks.
All right. And then last but not least, Sabina. Saib. Hello, Governor. All right. What's up, madam? Oh, these are great. These are fun. What's this guy about? Why does he have a heart over his face? Because you like him?
Oh yeah, no, it's my favorite one so far. Although I'm not sure. I think he's my second favorite one now.
Yeah, okay. I'll circle some that I like. Like I like this guy. I do like this guy too. I like this guy's attitude and his fuzz. It's really cool actually. Um, I like this one too. I think that's it. I think the rest of them are good. There's some good stuff from the rest of them, but those four definitely have some winning personalities. So I mean, my critique is really simple. I think like when you go back and adjust these characters, I want them to be a little bit cleaner in their gestures. Some of their anatomy is a little bit, distorted. Like this is kind of a little spaghetti, you know.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like stylized, like you want to make sure like you have a really good even if I'm like pushing the gesture and getting like crazy gestural in here, like you still want to like have like the anatomy to have like some really strong like structure to it. You know?
Yeah.
So it feels like there's some dimensionality. You know? You don't want to just be like, legs. You know? You want to like see that like quality of gesture. Okay?
Okay.
But overall, dude, I like these. So I'd say maybe for next class, try to paint up at least two of these, the best you possibly can. Like take them to full finish if you can by next class.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
But
good.
overall, good thumbnails. This is much better than what we started with, that's for sure. And in terms of your studies, I kind of already gave a really good review to Will about studying and stuff. You should take that as similar approach. Like, it's great to do like Bridgman studies and stuff like that and copies, but you have to also like, do you understand it? It's one thing to be able to draw it, but do you also understand it? Could you draw it again without looking at it? That's the real question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are good though. I mean, like here's the thing, guys. As long as you're drawing, like even if you're copying, you're learning something. You're definitely improving. The problem with copying is that it's slower. That's all. Right? Because with copying, you might not be paying attention, and things might be going over your head. And the only way for them to not like, have you ever tried to study for a test and all you did was try to memorize it by saying it over and over and over in your head, and then the next morning you woke up and you forgot it? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like just repetition alone is like you don't remember half of the things that you were supposed to remember. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. Same thing will happen with painting and studying like that way. That's why flashcards work, because flashcards test you, right? But you have association with some visual information. Flashcards are really good for memory, right? Because you write it down. You write down the answer on one side and you write down the question on the other. And then you have association via imagery, right? And then so whenever you need to remember, you can see the flashcard in your head, and then when you see the card, you can see what's behind it. It's easier versus just like doing it all in your head. Okay? So I think these are great. Keep it up, but try to see if you can like objectify your learning by testing yourself. Do like a page of studies, and then go to the next page and try to draw like for 10 minutes what you remember, and it will wake you up right away, whether you were paying attention or not. Okay?
Okay.
And it's good, so you don't feel like you waste. I mean, this happens all the time, right? Like where you do like a 8-hour page or 8 hour session of studying and practicing, and then you go to or you go do a painting for yourself, like let's say the next day, and it looks like complete garbage, and you don't know why. You're like, I did all the studies of values the other day, and I can't even paint values today. What's going on, right? Like that's a good symptom. That's a clear symptom that maybe you weren't paying attention.
Do they have another
Yeah.
class?
Yeah, they have another one. It's at the end of the month, but it's not. They started a week later, so they have one next week. All right. Anyways, okay. So for
Okay,
me, I
great.
want you to try to do 2 characters, paint them as best you can. Okay, homie? All right. Cool. Good job, everybody. All right. So if you guys wait around just a little bit longer, we're going to jump into the other hour where we do like a demo and stuff, and I talk and paint. Otherwise, if you guys like, it's going to be recorded, so you don't have to. I know we're starting a little bit later in the day, but if you guys are cool to wait, we'll start in like about 10 minutes or so. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys then. Otherwise, good job, everybody. Great work. Talk to you guys in about 10 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
See you later.